the world-class gentleman, Earley. Yeah, so I'm honored to be fighting on Christy Martin's Pink Promotions card this July 29th. I'm super excited about it. This is the first time in my professional career that I will be the main event, so I'm super excited about that, being the main fight. I'm fighting a guy that is 4-1, right? And I'm 4-0 now, so I'm fighting a guy that's 4-1, so I'm stepping up in competition, you know, really building my record and building my championship stature, so when I get to that level, I'll be able to handle everything that's thrown my way. So I'm building the right way, and I'm just excited to have the support of my entire team, my entire family. You know, the team I have here at Foreign Fitness and Pink Promotions. It's just been an awesome ride. So this is another chapter in the book of success, you guys. So we're ready to move forward and ready to move on and do our thing. Thank you. It's definitely an unbelievable feeling. I would say, well, first off, when I first got the call that, you know, that I would be the main event, I was taken back by it. But at the same time, I felt, you know, I think that everything that we go through, it's all about visualizing where we are. It's all about, you know, believing in where we can go and what we can do, right? And so I always believed that, you know, that I was going to be somebody that always, you know, went that extra step. I was going to be somebody who always took that extra mile, or, you know, ran that extra mile, or threw that extra punch. So, you know, that's what I always strive to be, because the only person that I'm really against is me in the mirror, the man in the mirror. And so when I got the call about the main event, you know, to me, it was less about, you know, everybody else and about the show, and more about, okay, now I have to prove to myself what I could do. You know what I mean? Now I have to really step up to the plate. They presented me with this opportunity, and now I really have to be the one to step up and move forward and do what I have to do in this game. And so I really just, I appreciate the opportunity to fight in my city, in Charlotte, as the main event. I mean, that's awesome. And I mean, I'm 4-0. This is my 5th fight. You know, so to get an opportunity like this, I mean, it's awesome. Words can't explain it. And it may sound small to a lot of people, you know, but to me, that's one of the things that really hit my heart. It really hit home. So, I mean, it's just a pleasure for me to even be a part of this promotion in the first place, let alone be the main event. So I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for this. Okay, so the last fight was funny, man, because literally there, I'm telling you, I knocked the dude out 3 times, and every time I knock him out, I hit him again, he wake up. So that was a whole different experience for me. So this fight, and, you know, I'm at the point in my career where I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still progressing, and that's what I plan to do to the day I die. But at the same time, I'm at the point now to where I will never go into a fight looking for anything. I never go into a fight with looking to knock somebody out, or looking to go all the rounds, or looking. I've realized in this game that anything is possible and anything can happen when you step in that ring. It's you standing across from another man. The only other person in there is the referee, right? And so I realized that anything can happen. And so I never go in there expecting anything. What I go in there to do is what I worked on, what I drilled, what I've been working with my coaches, what I've been working with my team, and I go in there to execute my game plan. And I go in there to make adjustments to whatever I need to make adjustments to be able to win. So I go in there to get the victory. You know, so however that victory may come, whether that's knockout, whether that's all the rounds, whether he stops in the corner, whether his corner throws the towel in, you know, however that is, I'm in there to get the victory. And so that's how I approach every fight. That's how I go into every single one of them. Awesome question. For this fight, I'm fighting, instead of junior welterweight, I'm fighting welterweight, so I'm fighting a weight class up. So before, I came down about 12 pounds for the fight. For this fight, I'm coming down about 3. So the weight cut is definitely not a factor. I feel stronger than I've ever been. My cardio's better than it's ever been. I mean, for this camp, everybody that I'm landing a clean shot on, everybody that I'm laying into can feel it. You know what I mean? And that's the difference in the weight cut, is that I just feel solid. I feel here. And that's gonna play a huge factor in the fight. Because I don't know exactly what weight my opponent is coming from or anything like that. But, the fact that, they allow me to be at 47, because a lot of people look at it like, oh, man, you fighting a weight class up, this is a bigger dude. But I'm looking at it like, you allow me to be at 147? You mean to tell me what I almost walk around at? And so that in itself is an advantage within itself. So I'm definitely excited about that. I'm definitely excited about fighting up and being able to eat a little bit more before the weigh is. Definitely I plan on staying active. We have a couple of big things coming up in our near future. As far as how you doing, man? As far as fighting, I feel like that there's different ways to stay active. Everybody always talks about, oh, this guy hasn't been, in a fight in over a year. But then on top of that, he's in everybody's sparring camp. He's been in everybody's sparring camp, getting everybody ready for world championship fights and things like that. So I think it's all about perspective when you say being active. So I definitely, without a doubt, don't plan on going more than 2 days without lacing up a glove. I'm definitely going to stay active, whether that's fighting, whether that's traveling, to other camps and things like that. But activity is definitely important. I definitely always plan on cultivating my sport on a daily basis, cultivating, my craft on a daily basis. So I got a chance to spar with the world champ. I mean, that was definitely awesome, man. I mean, the things that you learn along the way. I mean, sometimes when you're younger and you feel like that you do a lot when you're younger, you feel like you achieve a couple of things when you're younger. It gives you this false sense that you know a lot, sometimes. And so years ago, I really got rid of that sense of, thinking that you know anything in this life. Always going into it like you don't know anything, and you're soaking up everything that you can. So I would say the best thing that I got from that camp was pushing myself to just a whole different level. And that's what I would say I did best in this camp, is just push myself to a whole different level. Because, there's a whole nother level to how you work out when nobody's looking, or how you run when nobody's jogging with you, or when you got somebody beside you trying to race. You know what I mean? And so that's what I really created in my mind for this camp, was that I always was constantly pushing myself internally, and constantly, being on the people around me to say, hey, don't let me slack off at all. Don't let me do anything that's not, progressive and moving forward towards what we're doing. And so that was the biggest thing that I took out of, working with the world champion, was work hard. And it might sound cliche. But at the same time, he not only was saying, hey, work hard. He was like, hey, this is what it looks like. This is how it looks. This is what 12 rounds looks like. This is what coming out in the first and coming out in the 12, the exact same looks like. You know what I mean? And that's what the difference was when, that really hit that switch, like, hey, okay, now it's time to really pick it up. And now because we always say that, oh yeah, now it's time to work, now it's time to do our thing. But no, that was really something that I did for this camp, and I really honed in on, really bringing up the pressure on myself. So that was definitely a big thing. That's what I got out of that. It's definitely a blessing. It's definitely a blessing that we get the opportunity to work with a world champion. I mean, it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. Sometimes when she comes to the gym, we just gather around her and ask her questions about, stuff that she's been through in the game, and people she's met and people she's seen. And it's, we just look like a whole bunch of kids around a campfire. It's one of those things that, as a fighter, that you have to admire, that you have to respect. And that's one thing that, all the guys here, we all have a lot of respect for her, because, the things that she's done and the woman that she is. And Pink Promotions is great for Charlotte, just because I might be a little biased, but it has all the best fighters. We got all the best fighters on the card. All the best fighters are here. So at the end of the day, no matter what any other promotion company tries to do, or no matter what anybody else tries to do, it's always going to show who's the best. It's always going to show who's world class. You know what I mean? That's always going to show. That's always going to come out. And so, through Pink Promotions, I feel like that we're definitely building Charlotte in the right direction. And then on top of that, last thing I'll add is that we actually are having real fights. You know what I mean? Like, we're actually having like real fights against real competition. And that's the biggest difference. I mean, anybody could go, and if any of y'all from Charlotte, anybody can go over on West Boulevard on Freedom Drive and pick somebody up and say, hop in the van, you want to make $400. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do that, but we're fighting real guys with real competitions, with real pedigrees, and we're trying to make our career something out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And that's just huge. That really means the world to me, and I'm pretty sure it means the world to everybody here and all of our fans and all that. So definitely appreciate that. Nervousness, no. I've learned to train my mind to take any nerves that I do have, any feelings that I do have, and translate that into something else and turn that into something else. So as much as I'm in this gym, as much as I'm in this ring, as much as I'm on that bag training every day, right? I'm always in my own head, training myself to think in the right ways and think in the right directions. Because anybody who's ever put those gloves on, anybody who's ever wrapped their hands up, know that this game here is 90% mental, right? And as much as in comparison to how much we train and how much we work out, right? That should be a huge statement of how much mental power this takes and how much, it could take out of you if you don't have the right mindset. This sport is just not for everybody. And that's something that I'm constantly working on, is training myself mentally. So I would say that nervousness isn't really a factor. I would say if anything, I'm more anxious. I'm ready to fight. I'm ready to get in there. I've been putting the work in, man. So I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to get in there. I'm ready to see my fans. I'm ready to see everybody, and I'm ready to put on a show for Charlotte. Anxious more than anything. I would say nervous. There you go. Ooh, you good? I'm good.